and speak with, we're going to follow up. We're going to talk about search engine optimization. We're going to talk about Moz. We'll talk about these different programs you can use. These are all going to be free, so I'm not going to have anyone sign up for anything that's going to make you have to pay or anything like that. Okay, so again, mlz.com, this site right here, they do a lot of search engine optimization training, and I enjoy this interface. It's a pretty simple to use interface. You put in the name of the practice, you put in the zip code, and then you'll get this ranking. And within this ranking, it'll tell you how you're showing up. So for example, if a business just has started out, they're not going to rank quite as well. And then, our job then and how we help is we'll do a one-on-one SEO consultation. I'll go ahead and show you how to claim these different pages, how to claim the Google page, the Facebook, Foursquare, etc. It's not difficult to do these things. They're just kind of a pain. So for example, here, maybe the Google one is missing something. They're saying that they need to add more photos, which is fine. You click this button here that says Update Listing. It'll bring you to the site. And here then you can go ahead and either claim the business or suggest an edit. A lot of people don't know that there's sometimes these businesses are they're kind of crowdsourced. So people will say, hey, it's actually on this side of the street, or whatever it is that they have to do. This is already a verified business, so I don't know why they have this claim this business in here. Maybe the doctor just has it on a different email, or maybe it's because I'm in my own right now, so you can see me and Junior up here. Okay, the other thing then, so again, just to recap, there's two main areas to SEO. There's the content, the formatting on the page, and then there's the outside forces, links, incoming links, referrals, and using tools like Google Analytics and Google Webmaster Tools. If you do not have Google Webmaster Tools installed on your site, or if you're not sure if you do, just let us know. We're actually in the process of installing it on every single site, but we know that sometimes we may miss one or two, and if you feel that that's the case, then let us know. We can easily check it out for you. We have multiple accounts here. Let me see if I can find the mlzcom. There they are. Okay, so I'm going to start up the top here. So Google Analytics and Google Webmaster Tools are two free tools that let you get information about visitors to your site, and it will help you organize the search data. Analytics is a little more in depth. It's probably the more famous of the two, but it's also the one that has more moving parts. When you install Google Analytics, you won't immediately get data, but over time you'll start to collect it. So here you can see that these folks have had 985 sessions, 777 users, and these are the page views. In other words, how many times a page has loaded to a browser of some sort. And this is everything, including tablets, phones, whatever other devices people are using to get to the internet. There's a lot of information here. You can find exactly what type of devices people are using to access your site. So in this case, we can see 351 folks came in on an iPhone. These Samsungs are down here, and this LG Vista is the low man on the totem pole with only 3. What use is this data to you? Well, this is where I kind of put it into context. On an enterprise system, so in other words, a big, large company, Nike, Apple, Walmart, they can go ahead and look at this, and instead of it being 351, there'll be 351,000. And they can find out then how the site formats well on those phones. They can test for those phones make sure that everything is okay. You shouldn't have to worry about that. Our sites are mobile responsive, so no matter what, if you go ahead and shrink the window down, you'll have a nice, easy to navigate website. And this looks great on an iPad or a phone, whether it's Android or iPhone. You'll be able to go ahead and get to the information that you need on that site. But again, this is part of what this is for. Maybe there's little things that they can fine-tune. And as you all know, every phone kind of has their different idiosyncrasies. On the Android side, there's multiple manufacturers of the phones, multiple OSs, and so we want to make sure that they're all, that this is one way where you can see who your target audience is and adjust accordingly. In terms of search, you can also find out how people come to the site. So for example, in this case, organic search is the big one. This is people just typing in something and then finding the site. More than, overwhelmingly half of it is from this. Some of them are direct. Here are some social. So you can find out, Yelp and Facebook are directing traffic here. So that's great. And then you can also find out, and this part's a little sketchy too, what pages actually link to you. This part you have to kind of view with caution because now, I can't hide my disdain. Spammers have found their way even here. Howmuchisit.org, openmultipleurl.com. They seem a little sketchy, and that's because even here there is a way of spamming, and there's no real way of stopping it. But you can at least see that Yellow Pages is sending some folks over here, and Facebook is sending people, and of course Yelp is sending some people over. So these are all good things to have. A quick note about Yelp. I know a lot of doctors, and practice managers, when I talk to them, say, "Oh, we really don't want to be on Yelp. We don't like how people are cruel, or they say things that are untrue, or whatever." I understand that. Nobody enjoys seeing negative things, especially if it's about their business and they know that they're hard workers and have a staff that's full of good people. But you have to be there. You have to be there in order to defend yourself. You need to be there just to be a presence, and the good will outweigh the bad. So if you're going to do anything, I strongly recommend getting a presence on there. Again, this is something that shows up here. One of the things is, do you have a Yelp account? And if you don't, then that counts against you because that's something that you're linking. So do get one. And the other thing is it gives you an opportunity to let folks know. Most reasonable people, if they see a bad review, they'll go ahead and they'll say, well, there's one bad review, but there's 8 fantastic ones. So I'm going to go with the majority here. Maybe this guy's just a grump. And there's other situations too. Maybe I had a doctor I was speaking to, one of our consultants here at VIN, and he had somebody leave just a horrific review, just an awful review on Google Plus for something that didn't happen in his practice. Like the dog wasn't a patient there. The owner wasn't one of the patients, and even though he had checked all his records. So he responded and he said, I'm very sorry what happened, but this isn't, we don't have any record of you being here, or this may be from another practice. You may want to double check. And so when folks see that somebody responds, that's always a good thing. Showing up is half the battle. Okay. So that said, there are some things here. There's also a little bit here about AdWords if you're going to use them. I get asked all the time whether or not it's worth it to get AdWords. It varies depending on the practice. I hate to say that because it sounds like such a cop-out, but it really is. If you're in a small town, maybe you don't, not a metropolitan area, you kind of know everyone around you, and you're just trying to expand over to the new place that's across the river. Maybe you don't need it as much. If you're in a large metropolitan area, you're a multi-location practice, maybe you've got a night shift or an emergency clinic that also works out of that same facility, perhaps that might help out. You know, it really depends on the practice, what their stated goals are and what they're looking to get done. Remember, if somebody does a search for something, so this showed up right off the bat. Let me go ahead and do this. Midtown Sacramento. So these folks put an ad in. They're in South Sacramento. And they've done this ad. Oh my gosh, ear cropping? Okay. So they paid for this ad, and sometimes people won't even go ahead and do that. They just kind of disregard the ads. I know myself, I'll disregard them unless it's for something specific that I'm looking, maybe some shoes or bike part or something like that. But for other things, I really don't want to go, so I don't really pay attention to these ads. And other people, they just look at the ad and they count the same as if it were this stuff right here, the organic search results. Okay, so that said, definitely install it. There is some good information to be gleaned from here, but it's a little bit more of a learning curve because, as you can see, there's a lot more tabs, a lot more information, and it's really geared more towards a bigger business. There are things in here where you can look at some Search Console stuff here, but this right here, the Search Console, which they call Google Webmaster Tools, can be better served here. All right, so this is Google Webmaster Tools. They've now changed it to Search Console. I don't know why this is. Google sometimes makes missteps. This is a way for you to communicate directly with Google. It's a fantastic resource. I love it. I use it every day. If you don't have this on your website, please let me know so that I can install it, after this webinar, or just shoot us an email, support@eVetSites.com, and we'll install it for you. If you have a Gmail account, we can also extend access to you so that you can log in and then see this data. Here are some of the things that you can do with it. You can submit a sitemap, and there's two kinds of sitemaps. One's for humans, one's for machines. The sitemap that they're talking about, like this sitemap right here, is just a way to find all the different pages on their site. On the other hand, this sitemap.xml is a listing of all the pages so that the crawlers, the computer programs, can find the different pages. So like right here, where'd it go? So we submitted the sitemap. It looks like out of 20 pages that were submitted, 19 of them were indexed. And what that means is, Google has these programs. They'll go out, go to your website, they'll go to the home page, they'll look for a link, click on the link, and then here they'll look for other links and follow those, so on and so forth. And if you have a page here like the About Us, and then there's also other links, it'll follow those. So it's important to have some on your home page. This is a small bit of advice, but it's very important. On your home page, since it's one of the most important landing pages, it's good to have these links so that the search engines can find the entire site. Your ranking is incumbent on a lot of things. One of them is the content. That's like the biggest one. But there's so many more things. A lot of people don't know is that the content from all your pages contributes to the domain's overall ranking. So the pages that are over here, spay and neuter, photo album, pet information, clinic forms, these are all gearing up and giving value to MidtownAnimalHospital.com. Google has a big bucket of words, and they're putting them in. And when they go through and they search, they're putting all these words in. And then if somebody does a search for Midtown or West Sacramento or Davis or Carmichael, that's where they can go ahead and then, that's how you'll rank for those terms. But they have to be on the page. You can't just hide them somewhere. They have to be readable so that people can see it and say, oh, yes, this is near me. I can go there and get help. So that said, what Google will do is they'll, left to their own, just on their own, they're going to come by and every once in a while take a look at the site, index pages, and then it'll come back again and the process repeats itself. Now, if you were to go here, where it says under crawl, fetches Google, you can actually request indexing. So it just doesn't happen on their own. It looks like I did this on the 18th. Was probably the last time I did a webinar here. You can put an individual page. You could do something like, about us, a sitemap, whatever the page is. You can put it there, and you can fetch it. Then you can request indexing. When you request indexing, there'll be two options here. One, to crawl this page, or the page and its direct links. If you've changed the content on just one page, you don't have to do it for the whole site. So remember that this one, you've got 499 submission, and on this one, we've got 10. So we have to kind of save those. Save those for like the big overhaul. You've had an SEO consult. We just did a makeover. And for those that don't know, we do offer complimentary makeovers. If you need your site to look a little new, a fresh look, maybe you want to change some things on the site and not mess things up on the live site, we can copy the entire site over, work on it, get back to you. Or if you have ideas for stuff, we can do that for you as well. And then, once you've got all that done, we'll make the site go live, and we can move over emails. You can move all that stuff seamlessly. Just let us do the work. So again, if you maybe did something like that, maybe we've created a new makeover for you, and it's live, and everything looks fantastic. The doctor is excited. The staff's excited. Then what you can do is you can crawl this URL and its direct links, or you can just do just that one page. If you do this, this is a great feature, and if anyone's taking notes, I would strongly recommend you do this. If you type in site and then colon, and then put in, I don't know, let's do this. It'll display every page from that site. Now let's say you were on the page and you wanted to find out, maybe they had a clearance sale. You can type this in, and it'll take you to just the pages that have that term. So maybe there's something where you just wanted to find out about a T-shirt or something. Here's where you can find them. This trick, site, colon, and then the domain name, works for every page, except for Vin, because I think Vin has crawlers turned off for it. But you can get to other stuff like the bookstores and things like that, but you can't get to the boards. Obviously, those are private. Let me see what does for ESPN. There's a lot more stuff there. But in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to see how Google interprets or looks at the website. Now, there's three parts here. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about this here. I'll put the link into the chat. So we've got the page title, the slug, and the meta description. Three elements right here. Important to have a nice title, important to have a slug, and then we have this thing. The home page is always going to be just your domain. We just did an update last night, so you won't see homepage.pml or anything like that anymore. Now it's just going to be nice and neat, midtownanimalhospital.com, and that's it. So for these other pages, you can go ahead and see this little triangle. If you click that and you hit cache, it'll tell you the last time that Google came by. In this case, it was the 19th. Now, we just requested the crawl a couple of minutes ago. So soon enough, we're going to see this change. All right, so we'll just wait a little bit. And the other thing you can do is you can see, hey, well, maybe there's a page that needs to be updated. Maybe this page has totally changed. Now we've got a picture of a giraffe in here, or maybe the doctor put a painting that he or she did, or whatever the case may be. And so if you need to update this, or maybe there is a staff change, maybe you had the About Us and the Our Staff needs to be changed because you've got a mix-up with the team. Well, this is what Google Analytics, Google Webmaster Tools can help you with. You can go ahead and request a search, and it'll go back and it'll do it. So you're basically telling Google to just show up on command, which is actually pretty cool, especially since this is a free program. The other thing you can do is they'll give you some security issues. They'll tell you if there's something going on at the site. We're very lucky in that. Go ahead and knock on wood, even though I'm not superstitious, just because we've been really good with not having folks being able to compromise our sites. If there were ever an issue with maybe somebody sneaking in some malware, a virus, or something terrible like that, Google will send you a message. They'll see that. And you may have encountered this sometime when you've gone to a site and it says, warning, this site has malware or malware detected or something like that. The other things that you can do is you can go ahead and get some statistics. Here's how often the pages are crawled per day, how often comes by to visit, tells you if there's any issues. You can also block or remove a URL. Let's say there's a page, midtownanimalhospital.com/aboutjose. Maybe I created a page on accident. Maybe they fired me. Whatever the case may be, you can actually temporarily hide them here from the index until Google catches up and realizes that, hey, that page is no longer there. So this is an option as well. And then the other part, which is probably the biggest, how can I say this, is kind of the main reason for showing up, is the search analytics. Here is where we can find out how many clicks, queries, impressions, the click-through ratio, and your position. So I'll explain these just so that you have an idea about what all this stuff means. The search analytics are different terms. These are what people are typing into, and somehow they've ended up on your site. These are queries. Clicks are how many times somebody actually clicked on the link once it showed up. Impressions are how many eyeballs you were exposed to. In other words, how many people saw this thing. If myself and 10 other people go to this page, you should see an impressions leap of 10 to everything that's on here. CTR stands for click-through ratio. How many times people, browse the site and then continue onward to go actually deeper into the site. So it's not just a home page or a landing page or whatever. You go there and then you continue on. The position is the position for a search. So for Midtown Animal Hospital, they've got 146 clicks. It showed up, over 1,000 times, and their position for this particular search is 3.7. So what that means is if I go and I do this search, we're actually number 1 right now, but there's kind of a rounding or averaging that happens here. So that's why you see that average of 3.7. So how does this help you? Well, you can go ahead and find out where you're showing up for a particular search. Maybe there's a search that you think that you should be doing better at. Fair Oaks and Veterinarian, or I'm trying to think of another one. Curtis Park and Veterinarian. Maybe if we do a search for Curtis Park, we don't see it here. But we can certainly look, and you can download this and then goof with it. I think it's a CSV file. Yeah, there it is. You can also open it in Google Docs. And then what happens is you can then manipulate the data a little easier. So you can go ahead and do that. You can do a search. Maybe you wanted to do Davis, California. Hey, there's Davis. We do have a Midtown Vet here as well. So these are the different searches that people are coming up for. And if you're not showing up, well, then that'll help you kind of track it, right? So you can kind of say, well, we're ranking, 98, which I can't even imagine what page that would be on. You could fit about 10 or so results on one page. So that would be about 9 pages in. The point is this will give you some insight and will give you a bit of a marker so that you can look at it and say, all right, we're on page 3 or we're on page 2, and we need to get some work done to get to page 1. And that's what I can help you do when we do the one-on-ones. We'll look at the content on the page. We'll make sure that your offsite SEO is all optimized and then we'll have this as kind of a marker so we can see, okay, yeah, we're at 79.6, and then what we'll do is we'll say, all right, well, we talked again. It looks like we're up to page, 50 now, and that way we can kind of track it. I've had a client that was, doing some work over the course of a couple of months. She was on page 6, then page 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1. And it was fantastic to see that because, it takes a little bit of work, but it's free, and you still can do this without paying a cent. Okay, some more things that we can do here is within the application, it actually tells you what Google expects from you. It's kind of like a parent. So in looking at some of these things, links to your site weigh heavily. So for example here, the Yellow Pages, Yellow Book, maybe some other Canadian deals, all these other pages are pointing to your website. The more of these that you have, the better. If you see that you don't have very many in here, it's a nice call to go ahead and get to work, and then we can certainly let's close that window. Oh no, I think I have it over here. Yeah, so we can check in Moz to see how you're doing, try to get this score up. If we do that, this is going to improve as well. And then of course we can track it, right? Again, we can say, hey, we only had 12 and now we've got 113. So there's a way where you can find out about these things, and these are the links that people are linking to. There's some more kind of under the hood items here. I'm not going to get into these right now. Just know that they're all things that you can do, and you really don't have to. And you can still get great SEO just as long as you've got good content on the site, and it's formatted nicely. Some other things you can do in international targeting here. We're obviously in the United States, but we have our neighbors to the north, and so plenty of times they need to go ahead and hit that button as well. Okay. The mobile usability, you don't have to worry about this too much. Again, all our sites are mobile friendly. If on the odd chance there's someone on this call that does not have a mobile friendly template, please let us know. You're on the short list, and we've tried reaching out to a lot of folks, but I know how things can get. We need to move you over. We'll make the process painless. You won't lose any of your content. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about what we've covered? I'll take a quick breather here. All right, if you ever need to remove a URL, this is something you can do here. You can hide it. Ever need to find out? Oh, and here's another thing I didn't touch on: the internal links. This is huge. Your site should have not just the pages that are coming in, but they should be links from one part of the site to another. So, for example, right here, she is linking to this, services, etc. And then this page, you notice, goes to the contact us. So what's the point of that? I mean, we've got this stuff over here. Well, here is why. Even though we've got this menu, we can click on things and get to the different pages on the website. If you're on a mobile phone, it's going to look like this. And these three dots up here become your navigation, or the three dashes, sorry. It's not the most elegant solution. I realize that. I think you guys probably realize that. If you look at it, it's not the most, it's not the best way of accomplishing things. And you know, what can I say? It is what it is. We're at this point in right now because that's just, there's no way around it. But what we can do is we can give people options. So if somebody is looking at your site and they've got some links down here, they can just tap on it with their finger. It'll take them to this next website or this next page. And then, hey, look, there's links to more pages. So they can click on that. And if you notice, we end up here at the Contact Us page. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Every website you go to has a call to action. There's something that they want you to do, whether it's to give you information, take your money, exchange a service, peddle their wares, whatever the case. Here we want people to sign up, right? Everything is leading towards that. Here we talk about support. Hey, there's a picture of us. We want you to sign up. We look at the features. Here's all the different features. Sign up now. We're pushy about that. If you go to Wikipedia, they're going to want something. Well, they want your money because they're always asking for that. And then there's different things. If you click on something, it takes you to another page, and then you click on that, it'll keep going, and you just go on, and before you know it, you're at all these crazy things. It just keeps, it just goes on and on. It's just an insane amount of links, and this is why Wikipedia ranks really high for things, is because they've got all these fantastic links. They're just connected. They're all over the place, and so your website should have them as well. You should have links that are both internal and external, but you should kind of steer people. It's not enough that you just go to the site and you've got that information there. Let's gently kind of bring them along. Has anyone on this call ever been to an IKEA? If you've ever have gone, you'll notice that there's these little arrows on the floor. And if you haven't gone, then just know that there's arrows on the floor that'll direct you throughout the location, throughout all the different things. But there's also shortcuts to get out from the places. So what we can do is we can supply both shortcuts and arrows to kind of gently lead people to where they need to go. And you can do that starting off by putting in links. If you don't know how to create a link, please let me know. We can help you with that. These links will help connect the site from one page to another. All right. So we've covered a little bit of analytics, a little bit of Webmaster Tools, a little bit of what to do with your site. These links here, if you're going to link, from one page to another, try to avoid having a page be hidden. because then that kind of disrupts the flow. Have all your pages, if there's a way to have every page have a link either to or from each other, you will help your SEO. In this case, they've got a contact us page that they're using to communicate with people. Have that be high up on the list. Have some links to that, and add image tags so that people can know what the page is about. I'll go ahead and show you how to do these right now. We've got a little bit of time. If you go to Edit Content and you double-click on an image, you'll see a window here that says Image Description. What you're going to put in is there's a couple of different guidelines. You could put in the name of the practice, your location, and what that picture is about, or you can write a short sentence using verbiage that's on the page. Notice that all these words that are here are things that appear on the site. And we do that because we want to have it be relevant. Google is very particular about this tag. They don't want people to put in stuff that's not actually on the site, because then that leads to deception, right? If we were to instead do, well, maybe not in all caps. And then what else can we say here? If we put something like this, we're not going to, you'll get quite a bit of traffic initially from the fans of these artists and whatnot, but you're not going to stay ranking for long, because Google's going to see this, they're going to look at it, they're going to say this is not okay, and so basically, I'm joking, of course, you guys aren't going to do that, but put in just content that's actually on the page. Well, Jose, there's not much content on the page. Well, then do it backwards. Put it here, write your little sentence about whatever this thing is about. Dr. Smith, this is his new laser surgery rig. He looks forward to using this laser to help your furry friends. Okay, if you have that here, then also have it here. That way it'll be relevant. And so what's going to happen now is it's going to just show up in the background. The next time Google comes by this page, it's going to rank those terms. And if we have Midtown Animal Hospital in Midtown Sacramento and West Sacramento several more times than the other guys, guess who's going to rank? Okay, so that's important to do. If you're, a note about that. So I asked her to put into the communities, and she did these. I actually live in West Sacramento. I'm right across the river. But these, if you have locations, they're not going to fit on every page. Sometimes you're just not going to be able to. The spay and neuter, it's going to be kind of weird to bring that up. So don't force the issue. Think of it as, when you're communicating with people via your site, that you're having a conversation, just like we're having now. Although really, it's just me chatting at you. But you could send a message, and if we do one-on-ones, then that's also a conversation that we can have. But put in there, things like, we're happy, happily serving people and their pets from A, B, and C, where A, B, and C are the names of the nearby communities. You can also put in there, the areas that you service. If there's not a specific town, the Spring Valley veterinary, Spring Valley area, or the tri-state area, or whatever the case may be. You can put that stuff in there. If you notice, I've put it here on this Contact Us page. I've also put it on the home page because I think it's important to show up. Right here, West Sacramento, Davis, Carmichael, Elk Grove. So we're kind of reaching a wider area. We're reaching people in different communities, and by increasing the amount of times that you put it in, that's helping as well. When Google used to have, and I only bring this up because maybe they'll hear me. Google used to have a fantastic part in Search Console where it looked at your keywords, and it would count them up, and you could see how many times a certain term appeared, and oh, it was awesome. And then they got rid of it. I have no idea why that is, but the less, the closest thing that you can do is when you're in here, look at the crawl stats, and you can see here. So if you need to find out where you're ranking for a certain term, and you've downloaded the data and you don't find it, then that means that you just have to repeat the term more often. If you go here to click animal photo album, dentist in Yuba City, you can look at things like this. Maybe you're not in Yuba City, so you don't have to do anything with this. It just doesn't make sense. So maybe you switch to 24-hour, then you need to put that on the site. And you can see here that it's very underrepresented. These are all actual searches that people did, and they're not ranking high for them. That's in my area, Hospital Sacramento, West Trenton Animal Hospital, nearest vet hospital. There's lots of interesting searches here. And so if you go ahead and include the areas that you want to service, include the service offerings that the practice does, kennels, boarding, grooming, vaccinations, microchipping, tattoos, whatever the case may be, that you're gonna cast a wider net for people to find your site. Everybody searches differently, right? If you don't believe me, sit down with someone there at your office and let me know how people do. Both of you go search for something, and you'll see how quickly your disrespectful for a fellow man comes. No, I'm kidding. Everyone just does different searches. Here you can see that this is proof positive. Some of these folks looking for someone in Davis. Some people use vet. Some people use veterinary. You have to kind of know your demographic. I was speaking with a gentleman yesterday in a place called St. Lucia, a Caribbean island, and we're registering a brand new domain name for him, and I always have to spell things out. I'm like, so Vet Center, C-E-N-T-E-R, and he stops me like, no, Jose, no, it's C-E-N-T-R-E. So little things like that make a difference, and so make sure that your posts, the content on your site is consistent to the local spelling and customs and things like that. Most of us here in the U.S. have the same spellings for things. There's different slang across the country, but if you want to show up for something and it's particular for your region, then make sure it's appropriate for one, and then for two, make sure that it's actually on the site so it can show up. There's limits to this. I wouldn't recommend that just because someone's in California, they say, hey, we are a hella good vet or anything like that. But you could certainly, include whatever local mannerisms, kind of let people know that you're a local business, not just some chain or whatever. Okay, so we've covered quite a bit here in analytics and Webmaster Tools. I want to stress again that there's no charge for this program, and it's very important to have it installed. Just at the very least, to let Google know about the changes that you're doing, the website pages and the search terms. You'll get a lot more SEO information out of Google Search Console than analytics. But analytics, again, is one of the oldest programs out there, and so I can see why people are all about it. It's just a different tool. It's not a bad tool. It's a different tool. You're using it for different things. One is to communicate directly with Google. The other is to interpret some data. So I don't want anyone to think that I'm disparaging Google Analytics or anything like that. Again, I use this every day as well. It's just a different creature. All right, so we've covered analytics, we've covered tools, we did a little bit about the images. I didn't really get into the search presence, changing the titles, the slugs, the meta description. So I'll zip a little through here, but and we'll finish up with this for today. I invite everyone to, of course, come and set up an appointment so that we can do a one-on-one consult. It's always better. We can learn about your communities, your service coverage, and all that sort of business. Okay, so the way that your site shows up in search results is these three instances: the title, the slug, and the description. The title is one of the most, probably the most important search engine element. You can go in and you can make sure that this has good info. Page title is displayed in search engine results page is what it says here. For your home page, you could say, your local neighborhood vet home, our doctors, or for a prescription, you could say request a prescription refill online. It'll see how it says remaining 11 right here. We've got it set up so that it will, as you're typing, it'll give you a bit of a countdown. Google chops things up around the 60 or 70 character mark. And so if you do a search for, see here how there's these ellipses? So it cuts out after a certain point. Some of these are just fine. Useful links, frequently asked questions. Those are all working okay. Services, veterinary hours. This one they could probably stand to put in some more, especially because this doesn't have Sacramento. See how these all have Sacramento on here? So I would, my advice would be, in addition to getting the stuff set up and to give us a call for a one-on-one, is to include the name of the practice, your town, what that page is about. And the rest of the stuff after that is bonus. You can use this formatting here. How you do that is like this. I think it's the employment page, right? If you go to edit menu, oh look, I did send this through, but Google just hasn't picked it up yet. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the description as well. Okay, so if you go to edit menu, this is the title, this is the slug, this is the description. The title is going to be, again, the big blue writing that you see at the top of the page. This is going to be kind of the green writing. Unless it says something like page 94 or page 70 or page 45, have it instead be something descriptive. Employment, about us, tour, about Dr. Smith, whatever the case may be. This description is a short little snippet of what's on the site itself. As you can see, okay, let me do this. So for employment, they use this. They didn't, remember they have something different in here? Let me go ahead and, oh, I already took it out. Okay, they had something different in here that just wasn't good enough. And then what Google did is they just used content from the page. Also, the title, it only has 2 elements here. Let's find out when the last time they came by. December 6th. So they haven't been by since December. And obviously the page content, the title, and other things have changed since then. This is a perfect example of how we can go ahead and use this. So now what I'm going to do, sorry about that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and have them come by and look at that page, because we want them to know. And in addition, I'm going to add a little bit of a header to this page. Right now it's got some information here. It says Midtown Animal Hospital. It's got all this different stuff. So I'm just going to copy this page, and I'm going to paste it here. Actually, I'm just going to paste this part that says employment. Tell them to fetch. Same thing. I'm going to go ahead and just going to crawl this URL. Hopefully this afternoon or a day or so at the most, that's the latest I've seen it take, it's going to have a new version. It'll be updated. It'll have the newest updated, newest, greatest, best version of the site. And so, you know, you'll continue to do that if you've got a site like this. Do site and then your domain name, and then look. And if you see something that just says hours, or just employment, or just hospital policies, click on it and make sure that you'll have something. Yeah, this one just says hospital policies. So we're going to fix that. Again, edit menu. Where is it? All right, so I can't find it. I'm going to have to use the site map. There we go, hospital policies. So as you can see here, this is a spot where we can fix it. And I'm going to go ahead and use some text from here. And then we'll just wait. Looks like we're running out of time here. So again, I want to thank everyone for showing up. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. I also encourage everyone to follow us on our social media. If you're on Twitter, twitter.com/eVetSites, facebook.com/eVetSites, and Instagram as well. And you'll get to see stuff from when we're out traveling around, updates on things like this webinar and other webinars that are coming up, and other things that we have coming down the pike. Thank you all for showing up. Appreciate everyone being eVetSites members, and I hope you all have a great day.